What if I told you there's a metric out there, totally free and available to anyone, that can predict your company's future with shocking accuracy? Well, stick around because we're going to break down why share of search is shaping up to be the most important metric you can track by 2026.
Seriously, just imagine having a crystal ball for your business. A tool that's completely free and tells you where your market share is headed, sometimes months in advance. It sounds like something out of science fiction, right? But the data is showing it's very, very real. And it's all about something called share of search.
So here's how we're going to tackle this. First, we'll get on the same page about what share of search actually is. Then we'll jump into the 5 big reasons it's such a game changer. We're talking about its power as a crystal ball, a brand health check, the ultimate proof your odds are working, a great equalizer for businesses of all sizes, and why it's perfectly built for the future.
Okay, let's get right into it. What exactly is share of search? It sounds complicated, but it's really not.
It's honestly one of the simplest metrics you'll ever see. You just take the number of times people search for your brand on Google, organically, and you divide that by the total number of searches for all the brands in your category, including yours. That percentage you get, that's your share of search. So really, what you're measuring here is your brand's slice of the consumer curiosity pie. It's a direct signal of what people are actively thinking about and looking for. It's basically your piece of their mental real estate, and that is a massive strategic asset. All right, now for the most powerful, almost magical part of this whole thing. Reason number 1, share of search isn't just a snapshot of today, it's that crystal ball we talked about. It actually predicts future market share. And look, don't just take my word for it. The legendary marketing effectiveness expert Les Binet did the research, and his work consistently shows this incredible link. When your share of search goes up, your market share almost always follows. But you might be wondering, how far into the future can it see? Well, it really depends on your industry. For categories with a fast buying cycle, like the energy sector, it's a few months. For something like mobile phones, you're looking at about a 6-month lead time. And for those really big purchases, like cars, it can predict market share up to a full year ahead. Pretty amazing. And this chart right here is the proof in the pudding. Just look at this data for LG phones. See the blue line? That's their share of search. Now look at the red line, that's their actual market share. The blue line consistently moves before the red line does. Imagine getting a 6-month heads up that your market share is about to rise or fall. That is a game-changing strategic advantage. Okay, so it's a crystal ball, but it's also a brand health monitor you can check every single day. And that brings us to reason number 2. Share of search is a fantastic real-time diagnostic tool. I like to think of it like a smoke detector for your brand. If you see your share of search starting to dip, that's an early warning that consumer interest is starting to fade. It's a signal that can pop up way before your sales numbers start to drop, and that gives you precious, precious time to do something about it. So you see, share of search is so much more than just a vanity metric. It's a real proxy for all these core marketing concepts we talk about. Is your brand top of mind? Do people even think of you when they're ready to buy? How strong is your brand without any ads pushing it? It really boils down to true consumer demand. And if your brand health is dipping, what's one of the first things you're going to look at? Your advertising, right? Well, that leads us perfectly into reason 3. Share of search might just be the proof of ad effectiveness that marketers have been dreaming of for decades. For the longest time, we all relied on share of voice, which basically just measures how much you're spending on ads. But let's be honest, in today's fragmented digital world, that is almost impossible to track accurately. Share of search cuts right through all that noise. It doesn't care what you're spending. It measures if what you're spending is actually making people interested in you. And here's something else fascinating that Les Binet's research uncovered. The way advertising affects search follows that famous 60-40 rule. About 40% of the impact is a short-term spike right after a campaign, but the other 60%? That's the long-term effect that slowly builds your brand's baseline level of search interest over time. So this gives marketers an incredibly powerful tool. If your share of voice, your ad spend, is super high, but your share of search is flat, well, your creative probably isn't landing. But if your advertising is driving your search share up, you've got solid proof that you're building a real, valuable brand asset. All right, on to reason number 4, and this one is a really big deal for brands of all shapes and sizes. Share of search is the ultimate great equalizer. Think about it. Getting traditional market share data is incredibly expensive, it's slow, and it's usually a luxury only the big guys can afford. Share of Search completely flips that on its head. The data is fast, it's predictive, and best of all, it is absolutely free. And you can do this yourself, like right now. It's just 3 simple steps. You go to Google Trends, you plug in your brand and all your competitors, and then you just do the simple math. It is truly that easy.
I mean, just look at how simple this is. With a tool like Google Trends, anyone, from a startup in a garage to a massive global corporation, can get access to this powerful proxy for market share. It's a genuine democratization of brand measurement.
And that brings us to our 5th and final reason, which might just be the most important one of all. Share of search is the perfect metric for the modern world because it measures what people are actually doing. Check out this statistic. A staggering 81% of people turn to search when they're looking to buy something. Search isn't just one of the channels anymore. For the vast majority of consumers, it's the absolute starting point of their entire buying journey.
So here's the bottom line. Share of search is so much more than just a clever proxy. It is a direct measurement of consumer intent happening on the biggest discovery platform the world has ever known. It's not what people say they'll do in a survey. It's what they are literally doing with their keyboards and thumbs. So as we look ahead to 2026 and beyond, the question for every single business becomes really, really simple. When a customer has a need, are they going to be searching for you or for your competition? Because the answer to that question might just determine the entire future of your brand.